Hey, hello and welcome to the show. It's me, JP, and you and I are right here at JP's product pick of the week, right here on Tuesday. Thanks for joining me. And I just realized as I was hitting go that I forgot to do one little thing with my session. I didn't drop in my new movie video file, so we'll be doing that. But first, before we get to that little administrative detail, I will tell you, you can head on over to that URL or QR code to get a huge deep discount on not one, not three, but two product picks of the week. It is a combo bundle sort of deal, and you're going to get a great discount on both of those items. So head on over there, and while you do that, let's see, I don't think I have a good way to, yeah, this is just gonna be messy for a second as I get rid of a video file. So ignore this.
Yes.
Ignore this.
It's finally here, another cutie pie.
Ignore that. That's gone. And now I'm going to drop in a different file. So I'm going to visually disappear for a moment while I grab that, but you probably still can hear me, so that's good. And we will have a look at what Lamore thinks of this new product pick. Here it is. I'm just going to do a little and get that all ready for you.
This is a zippy A&O rotary encoder, which is like, okay, let's be honest, it's basically a knockoff of the original iPod Classic scroll wheel, like the mechanical scroll wheel, not the capacitive touch one. This is the original, like, luxurious clicky scroll wheel version, which, you know, eventually I think people, like, they got crumbs in it or something, I don't know, so they stopped making it these capacitive touch now. But at the time, this was amazing. So this is a rotary encoder. Go back to
this way.
Yeah. So this rotary encoder, the center part with the little mini divots, I think it's like a 24. Each divot is a little a click. It's a you can feel the clicky rotary encoderness. It's got, you know, your standard 2-pin rotary encoder output, and then it's got the center button, up, down, left, right. It's actually a little bit like that nav switch we were showing earlier, but this has got a rotary encoder in the center as well. Only thing about it, really annoying. Look at the bottom. The pins are in like totally weirdo locations. It's, you know, you can solder wires to them. The pads are quite large. But if you want to make it easier on you, you could grab our Breakout board. And when you solder this to the Breakout board, it makes it so easy to use because it gives you a line of headers with 0.1 inch spacing. So I just kind of did that work for you, and you see, and you're golden.
It's a pair.
It's a pairing. It's a pairing. So it's very luxurious. You can show on the overhead.
Yeah.
This is the.
You want to make your own Nomad MP3 player? This is how you do it.
Basically. It's a little.
Want to make your own Zune?
Why this got so
Can I click it?
Yeah, why don't you click it?
And then nice.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Got a winner there.
Yeah. So, So as I rotate it, you can see the LED moving around, and it does make a little tactile click sound. Up, center, left, right, down. Comes in classic Adafruit black. In this case, I'm just plugging it right in and onto a feather. The buttons are, of course, just normally open buttons that, you know, just use them as any GPIO inputs. And the rotary encoder, you'll need to use the rotary encoder support for your microcontroller because it uses the 2 pins in a kind of a gray code style thingy to know which way they were turned. But it is just a normal rotary encoder beyond that. So another nice navigation switch. This is...
Yeah, and that's going to loop. So, very cool. Let me go ahead and grab mine, and then we can do a demo. So right here, if I open up the little jewelry case, we have the switch itself. I'm going to go ahead and peel off the protective coating, and look below, there's the Breakout board. So let's introduce these properly. My product picks of the week this week are the Zippy A&O Navigational Scroll Wheel Rotary Encoder and Breakout board. So these act just like the click wheel on an original iPod, I think up to generation 3, and then it got all capacitive and boring. But these are clicky. You can hear them clicking. It's got a center button, up, down, left, right, and the scroll wheel rotary encoder. When you pair it up with this, I'll go ahead and let me show you how those go together there. Get this out of the way. There are 2 pins up at the top. Once you've matched those, you've got the rest. You may need to do a little bit of straightening of the pins before it'll go in. These look pretty straight. And then once you pop those in, you go ahead and flip it over and solder that. There you go. It is now mounted. And then you can wire this or attach some header pins to these to get access to all of the buttons and the 2 rotary encoder, as well as some common ground wires. And then decide how you're going to plug that in. It can go into a breadboard really neatly. You can actually get directly into the side of a feather, the top side of a feather, by pulling a couple of pins down to act as a ground. And once you've got that mounted, then you can code that in Arduino or CircuitPython to read the rotary encoder, read all 5 of those buttons. So what I want to do is show you a real live demo. First of all, what I've got here is, show that off right there. This is the rotary encoder on its Breakout board, and then I have soldered an Itsy Bitsy. This is a Itsy Bitsy RP2040 onto it. I just had to make one little accommodation. There's a pin there on the Itsy Bitsy that's 5 volt that cannot be turned into a normal input, I think. It might be an output only. So I did a little bodge over there to pin 4 on the side. But other than that, it's a really neat, almost perfect size. And that means we have a little plug and play encoder wheel. So the demo that I've set up for this, I'm going to go ahead and unlock my iPhone. And I'll show you where this comes from, but this is called iPod.js. And this is a web app that acts just like an old iPod. And you can run that on your phone or on a browser on your computer. I'm going to go ahead and adjust my focus here so you can see this a little better. Close. Pretty close, that's good. And now you'll see I can use the click wheel plugged into the iPhone using the little OTG dongle there, the camera kit dongle. And now I can go and choose, let's say, cover flow. I can go through some album art here. If we scroll back from MF Doom to Bartle Beats there, that won't get us in trouble. I can click on that. Let me fix this focus. Hold on. There we go. That's much better. So now I can click through, pick a song, hit play. And all I'm doing with this, let me go ahead and pause that, is using the controller as a USB HID device. So I'm sending right arrows, left arrows, up, down, escape, enter, those types of things. I think the space bar is the enter on here. So once you've figured out what codes you need, you've got a really neat interface that allows you to replicate the functions of a click wheel on a click wheel instead of this virtual stuff. Like, sure, yeah, that's convenient because it's already in your pocket, but this is actually fun. That's actual fun right there. I love that. We can go back a couple, choose some other settings in here. You can't really play games on there as far as I know. Pick your music through other means such as albums, and then go scrolling through all your albums. So this is just one use that you can use this for. It's also excellent as a NeoPixel controller, as Lady Ada showed, as a MIDI controller, as other types of USB HID, and that is a really straightforward use of this lovely little rotary navigation encoder Breakout. Now, if I jump over, and I'm going to just check the chat, make sure everything's good. Oh, tiny turntable controller. Yeah, that's a good one, Todd. Over on Discord, ToddBot said we should use this as a little, you could do a little record scratch. Has to be high-pitched like that. So if you head back over to the Adafruit site there and check it out, we've got the directional navigation scroll rotary encoder for half price right here. That's product ID 5001. And then if we jump over to 5221, just a mere 220 items later, you have the Breakout board for half price, so 75 cents. pick up a few. You can pick up to 10 of these if you have big project goals. These would be great for doing all kinds of navigation things. If you take a look down here in the main guide, go ahead and click this primary guide, you'll get the pinout and information for setting this up, soldering it together, using it in CircuitPython, Python, or Arduino. And just so I can show you that, that website, this is tannerv, TANNERV.com/iPod. Really cool virtual iPod. You can see here I can use my cursor to go and change that, but way more fun with the rotary encoder scroll wheel. Let's see, what else did I want to mention? Let me check over on the YouTube. Brian Logan says that would make a great smart home physical controller. Oh, Connor McCarter, this would be fun to add to a custom keyboard. What a great idea. If you're doing your own PCB maybe, or even just the shell, if you add on a little shell to like a macro pad or a keyboard, it would be really cool to have a nice little rotary encoder wheel. Really great navigation method. If we take a look at the code for this, I can jump over to another view. This is my code in CircuitPython, and what I'm doing here is the main things are importing rotary I/O and digital I/O, so I can read the encoder as well as read buttons, which is what those 5 nav switches in the center act like. And then I'm also using HID keyboard and key code. I also experimented with using the encoder wheel as a mouse scroll wheel. It works great, so if you just want to scroll web pages. In fact, there's a really great guide, let me show it here, from, if I can find that page, Liz, Blitz City DIY, in the Learn system. Let me go back up to Learn, and let's do scroll. Doom Scroll and Chill, a wireless BLE scroll wheel remote. So she has a couple use cases here, and it's on a NRF52840 to get the Bluetooth. So this is used both for controlling a game of Doom, as well as some video navigation for watching YouTube videos, that type of thing. So going back to the code here that I have for my little iPod, I am setting up the encoder on pins 13 and 12. This is specific to the Itsy Bitsy. And then the rest of these are pins I'm using for setting up all these debouncer switches for the buttons on pin 10, 9, 7, had to skip 5, 4, and I'm using the SCL pin. Then setting a couple of these as sort of a fake ground, 11 and SDA. And then I'm setting up what my buttons are going to be. So an enter, an escape, left arrow, space, and right arrow. And the scroll wheel itself, you can see here I'm sending either a down arrow or an up arrow, depending on the direction that the encoder wheel is going, and then checking for key presses. So it's pretty straightforward, pretty simple code. You could adapt that to any list of things that you want those buttons to mean. Pretty good for things like video control, if you want like a jog wheel to adjust sort of frame by frame some edit points on video editing or music editing, sound editing. Really great for that kind of stuff. So let's see, I think that about covers it. Let me know if you have other ideas, thoughts, questions. Seagrove says, let's replace all the touchscreens with real switches and controls. Things would get bulky. I don't know if we have pockets big enough. All right, so I think that's going to do it for today. Let me go ahead and grab this one, which I didn't solder back together yet, but I will go ahead and attach a little hang tag to that. And, oh, yeah, look, it's my board of goodies. That's the product pick of the week. It is the A&O rotary encoder scroll wheel with navigation buttons and Breakout PCB, dual product picks of the week. That's going to do it for today. Thank you everyone so much for stopping by. I will be hanging out in the chat a little bit throughout the day. Let me know if you have any thoughts, questions. Hopefully if you wanted some, you went and grabbed them on half off right over here on our, there's the URL for those products, 5001 and 5221. You don't need any coupon code or anything like that. Just put them in your cart hit buy, and you'll get them at that price. Thank you, everyone, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.